Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Service Business Success webinar. I'm so glad that you're here. Now, before we get into the training, I just want to take a few moments just to introduce myself and share a little bit of my story. My name is Aldreama Harper. I am your host for this webinar. I'm a productivity strategist and the creator of Success Biz Academy. I'm also an organizing consultant at simplisticorganizingsolutions.com or simplisticorganizing.com. Primarily, my focus and my job with my clients who are overwhelmed entrepreneurs is to help them to create solutions to eliminate clutter and overwhelm and boost their productivity so that they can create freedom in their businesses. I help my clients to be more efficient. I help my clients to be more focused. In turn, that helps them to be more profitable. Now, I want to share a little bit of my story because I want to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from and why I wanted to do this webinar. I've been in the service business and specifically an organizing business for over 12 years. Back in 2003 is when I actually started my professional organizing business. And when I first started, I did it on a part-time basis. And then a few years in, back in about 2008, I got serious. I made the decision to go full-time. I organized any and everybody. Anybody that needs organizing. If they needed their garage organized, I did it. If they needed their kitchen organized, I did it. If they needed their car organized, I did it. And so I got extremely busy. I mean, things were really, taking off. And so I began thinking, this is good. This is good. I'm working. I'm making money. I love what I'm doing. This is awesome. But then I got to a point where I started to be a little bit exhausted. Well, a lot exhausted. I became exhausted mentally. I became physically exhausted. Things were, my back started bothering me. And here's why all of that began happening. Number one, I was doing everything myself. And because I was doing everything myself, I didn't have time to, or I felt like I didn't have time or didn't take the time to implement any systems. So I had no systems. Everything was in my head, and basically I had created a job for myself. Then I decided, okay, well, let me just hire an assistant. So I hired an assistant, ended up doing a lot of the things myself. Why? Because I still hadn't taken the time to document any of my processes. Nothing was automated, was still in my head. So I began to understand a little bit more about the power of delegation and what that could bring. I even had a client once that got a little bit upset with me when I felt like I needed to reschedule her so that I could attend a workshop, and I ended up not going because, I had to service a client. So then I began to feel trapped. I felt like an employee. I was no longer enjoying the fruits of my labor, which was a lot of labor. However, I started to feel trapped, and I started to feel like an employee. I didn't feel like I was a business owner. Another incident happened where I lost an $11,000 opportunity because I had no documented processes and systems. I still had everything in my head. So why am I sharing this with you? Why is this so important? Well, when you're doing all the work yourself, and particularly in a service business like an organizing business, or perhaps you're a contractor, or even a life coach, or whatever type of service business you're involved in. When you're doing all the work yourself, you're actually not in business. You're self-employed, and you've created a job for yourself. And really, that is okay if that's that's what you want. If that is your goal, that is okay. I'm not knocking you for that. But if you really want to experience true freedom in your business and not leave money on the table like I did, not feel trapped like I begin to feel, not start to feel frustrated because you're not able to spend time with your family, or in my case, I wanted to attend a workshop where there was an opportunity to do some networking. And, even make money while you're doing other things, then you'll want to stay with me on this webinar. So before I dive into the content, however, I just wanted to take a little bit of time also just to share some of the testimonials that I've received about my coaching. Krista says, I first encountered Aldreama Harper on Periscope. Talk about serendipity. She has the best advice and clarity on things streamlined for your business. I've since had a couple of different sessions working with her, and she continues to motivate and inspire me to streamline, but all in a way that works for me. Yes, I am in Washington State. She can help you even if you aren't in Texas. I would recommend her to anyone looking to use their time more wisely, like doing more money-producing activities with all of the time and resources will free you up from working with her. Thank you, Krista. One other testimonial. Aldreama Harper has a unique way of making you feel special and validated. I highly recommend her services. In fact, I recommend her to anyone who needs organizing or transitional counseling. She's the best. Thank you, Kim. Well, so who is this webinar for? Well, if you are a service-based business, this webinar is for you. If you're a life coach, a wellness coach, fitness coach, consultant, contractor, if you provide personal services, this webinar is indeed for you. It's also for you if you're wearing or you feel like you're wearing too many hats, so you're doing everything in your business and you want to free up your time and you're struggling to get clients and trying to keep them happy, like I experienced, or you're beginning to feel frustrated and trapped, even though you love what you're doing. This is for you. See, in the service-based business, it's so easy to get to a place where you're unable to scale your business because you're busy servicing all of your clients. So, let's get started and let's dive into the webinar. Most people who are self-employed find it easier than they expected and enjoy newfound freedom and independence so much they never even consider going back to the old routine of being an employee. That's me. And I'm sure that that's you as well. But there are specific challenges we as service business providers or service-based business owners face, especially in the early days. And so the purpose of this webinar is to really just to prepare you for these challenges so that you can meet them. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the personal characteristics that you'll need in order to be successful in a service-based business. We're going to talk about some of the pros and cons or the pitfalls you can avoid when running a service-based business. We're also going to talk about what successful service-based business owners are doing right now to ensure their success. And you will be able to implement the same things so that you can ensure success. Now more than ever before, people are leaving their 9-to-5 jobs and starting a service-based business, but not just service-based businesses. They're starting businesses where they offer services directly to customers or business owners or what have you. Many people are doing this online, offline, offering all types of services, building websites, being social media managers, pet sitting services, appliance repair, all types of businesses. The thing is, now is the best time to be an entrepreneur. According to the Harvard Business Review, as of February 2014, there were approximately 14.4 million self-employed Americans. Of these, 9.2 million were unincorporated, self-employed workers, and another 5.2 million were incorporated. So take a moment to consider that. Approximately 14.4 million people have decided to start their own businesses. This is a really staggering number. Over the course of the year from September 2014 to 2015 of September, the total U.S. workforce hovered around 120 to 125 million. That means 1 in 10 of the working American population is self-employed. So needless to say, one of the key reasons for this high number of self-employment is the ease of starting your own business. So let's talk a little bit about personal characteristics. Okay, that is one of the things that I wanted to share with you in this webinar, because there are some personal characteristics that you must have in order to be successful in the service-based business. Although anyone can start and run a service-based business, the question becomes, how do you know if you have what it takes? Are there certain characteristics or natural strengths that can make it just a little bit easier to be a service-based business owner? Before you start on this path, you should really understand these characteristics and just measure yourself against them, keeping in mind that if it doesn't sound like you, that doesn't mean you're not successful or you won't be successful. The point of this whole webinar is that I wanted to share with you is to give you an idea of the challenges that you may face, especially as a service-based entrepreneur. These are actually some of the things that I wished I had known before starting my journey into entrepreneurship. So let's talk a little bit about some of those personal characteristics. If you actually saw the original promotion video, I did share 3 of those personal characteristics up front. But I'm just going to go over them real quickly, and then we'll get into a little bit more of some of the other personal characteristics and entrepreneurial characteristics. So number 1 would be self-motivation. A great deal of work goes into setting up your business and running your service-based business. There's no boss breathing down your neck, right? So therefore, self-motivation is crucial, okay? You may not miss, or you may miss actually having someone kind of, prompting you to do things. And so self-motivation is really going to be key, because you really need to be a self-starter, okay? Someone who can stay on task if you want to run your own business. There's going to be times when you're going to have to shake off the dust, pull yourself up just to keep things moving. So self-motivation is key. Business or industry knowledge, you need to know some basics about running a business, right? About industry, about the business industry, and about related industries, things that you're doing in your business. Things that I've had to do was get a better understanding of how to provide services to my clients and really stay on top of the organizing business, right? So there's some things that can be learned. Even if you're not all that business savvy to start with, it's well worth your time to study, okay? Time management. When you work for yourself, you have to manage your time. It helps when you're already, somewhat proficient at it, but time management is a skill that can be learned if you're willing to create new habits and stick to them. So let's talk about a few more personal characteristics. Organizational skills. Organizational skills can be learned if you don't have them already. They can still be learned. But if you're generally an organized person, this will speed up your learning curve, especially when you're handling multiple clients, multiple jobs, multiple revenue streams. You need to keep all of these things organized. Management skills. It's possible that your business will never hire additional staff, but even if you're only planning to outsource using independent contractors, it's a skill that you should have. Management is a skill that you can outsource if you find it difficult. However, it's a skill that you should have even if you don't plan to have a staff of your own. Marketing skills. When we're just starting out, normally, there's no budget, to hire a marketing staff. So we just end up doing everything ourselves, right? Wearing too many hats, like I said. And so we do a lot of things we're not particularly skilled at. Marketing is something that you must learn if you're not skilled at this. Because as a business owner, if you're not marketing, you're going to go out of business. Okay? So even though you may not have the budget up front and it can be outsourced, but until then, you really need to develop and get skilled at marketing. People skills. You need to have good social skills for interacting both with customers and with vendors and other businesses that you're, going to rely on, because you can't do business by yourself. And so you will absolutely need to have some people skills. You can't just be off in a corner trying to do business. You are going to have to, at some point, interact with people and develop your social and people skills. Now, one major challenge for many self-employed people is that you have to be both professional at whatever service you provide and an entrepreneur at the same time. Now, excuse me. No matter what kind of business you're starting, you will inevitably become an entrepreneur, even though you may not have thought of yourself as an entrepreneur before. So we're going to talk now a little bit about some of those entrepreneurial skills that you need to have. You need to have self-discipline and motivation. We talked a little bit about that in the previous segment, but I can't stress that enough about self-discipline and motivation, because again, no one is over your, looking over your shoulder for, get this done and get that done. So you're going to have to absolutely develop some self-discipline and motivate yourself to just kind of push through even when you feel discouraged. Decision-making and problem-solving. You have to be able to solve a problem. That's why you're in business, because you're solving a problem. You need to be able to have a vision for your business future, what direction your business is going. You have to have the ability to adapt and be flexible. Entrepreneurship has ups and downs, highs and lows, okay? Perseverance in the face of adversity. You will face adversity being an entrepreneur. The constant search for new ways to grow your business is another skill that you will need to develop. These are entrepreneurial skills that you need to develop in your journey of entrepreneurship or your endeavors as an entrepreneur. You absolutely are going to need that, right? You need to have an understanding of your market, right? You need to be self-reliant, okay? You need to have self-confidence. You need to have the ability to commit to things and see them through, right? You need to have some sense of competitiveness. Again, there's a great deal to consider in this training here. And the point is not to discourage or dissuade you from this. The point, rather, is to help you to set expectations. And these are qualities that will help you no matter, at what point you're in your business. These are qualities that will help you, or which you should consider, improving if you don't have those qualities, okay? So now let's just go a little bit deeper into, or just look at some pros and cons. Now that we looked at some personal and entrepreneurial traits and characteristics, we're just going to take just a quick look at the advantages and disadvantages that you need to take into account when the going gets tough in your businesses. And here's the deal. Again, I'm not trying to dissuade you or discourage you from going into business, because a lot of people share the glory and share, all the wonderful things about being an entrepreneur. And there are some wonderful things. But again, there are some things that you need to know going into this entrepreneurial journey. So let's look at some pros and cons. Okay? All right. Here are some advantages of starting your own business. Flexibility. Flexibility means you can set your own hours, you can work as you please, and let me say a little bit about this as well, about the flexibility aspect of it. You will want to set your hours according to your prime time, okay? That is what I do. I'm a morning person, and so even though I have the flexibility to set my own hours, I'm also very much aware of my best hours, is what I'm trying to say. So you can create a schedule around your regular work, your family, travel, or even your leisure activities. You can find the exact time of day, or your sweet spot, if you will, for certain types of tasks, okay? You can also be available to your customers whenever you need, whenever they need you, rather, to meet their needs. So that is one advantage, okay? Another advantage is, of course, working at home. Many self-employed people work from home, okay? You might work entirely from home, or you may use your home office or your home as a base and travel out to your clients. In my organizing business, that's what I do. I have my home office and my home base, but I travel out to my clients and in order to get it to their space and help them organize their space. So that is one of my businesses. And so, as I shared with you before, I'm a strategist, I'm an organizing consultant, and I'm the creator of Success Biz Academy. So I actually have 3 multiple streams. And so each one of those businesses require a different type of, or a different, in other words, I may not have to work entirely from home in my organizing business, and when I send out organizers to go out and supervise them, I still have to go out to them. However, when I'm working in my coaching business, I don't have to leave home, okay? So there's different, advantages to working from home and that type of thing. So more time with your family. With no commute and the ability to design your own schedule, you can spend more time with your family, okay? So that is an advantage. Minimal startups. The minimal startup costs, Starting a home-based business requires little upfront money to start. Your expenses may include only the tools that you need, such as specific physical tools, your computer, your software program, maybe, web hosting, internet access, and so forth and so on. But you don't have to pay rent. And all those expenses, can get staffed, to have you don't have to pay rent. And with all the other expenses that you have, there's a minimal cost involved in starting your business. Independence. When you're self-employed, you have no boss, right? You have no one to answer to. And so these are advantages. However, like I said before, that can go against you. So independence, again, is an advantage. There are no performance evaluations. There's no office politics. There's no incompetence, among your superiors, right? You never have a conflict with your boss over which direction your business needs to go, right? Because it is on you. So these are advantages for starting your own business, right? The next one is earning potential. As we mentioned in the introduction, you have the potential to earn more than you would as a salary job. Or maybe we didn't talk about that early on. If you provide a service, you can raise the price over time. You can set your own prices depending on the labor or the difficulty or the complexity of your job or the things that you do for your client. You can if you create multiple businesses, then you can run them without your constant management or input and create residual income. So there is a huge earning potential when it comes to creating your own business or having your own business. So there are also some disadvantages. Number one, work-life balance. If you can work anytime, you might end up working all the time, right? I know for me, I have the tendency to be a workaholic, so I have to really be careful and learn when to shut things off, okay? So like I said before, without a set 9-to-5 schedule, it's easy to become absorbed in work, right? And you can kind of get out of balance sometimes. However, you need to find your sweet spot, as I said in the earlier slide there. Set a time for your sweet spot where you can earn money and really get into your, I call them productivity rhythms, okay? All right, discipline. It takes a great deal of discipline. I talked about this a little earlier. It takes a great deal of discipline to work for yourself. While it's nice, to have the boss off your back, you might need a boss or a coworker or someone to help you stay more accountable. Isolation is another disadvantage. Many people quit their jobs just to get away from coworkers and bosses and all that kind of stuff, only to find working from home can be a little lonely. You may miss the social interaction and support that you get from your peers, and it's not always easy to get that type of contact and support, online. And so you have to find ways to combat that if you have that tendency to feel isolated. And again, I'm always talking about multiple hats. When you run your own business, you have to wear multiple hats at some point in time in your business, right? You have to be the accountant, you're the boss, you're the specialist, in your service, or the IT person, you're the HR department, and so forth and so on. And some of these hats may be things that you're not good at, and it will be a struggle to handle them. So here's the deal. Just keep in mind all of the advantages and disadvantages of running your own business in mind as you look at the characteristics of proven successful service business owners. Take a look at the advantages again and the disadvantages, the pros and cons, the characteristics, all of these things that we've shared so far in this webinar, and just measure them against where you are, what is working for you and what's not working, and tweak as you go. Okay. All right. Now, service-based business owners face a number of challenges throughout the life cycle of our businesses. For someone who's struggling in their business, these challenges can present major obstacles and even be a little discouraging. So in this section, we're going to go over 3 steps that you can take to accelerate your service business to ensure success. The big challenge is getting people to come to you and attracting new business. In this day and age, you must stand out in the crowd. You need to optimize your visibility. And you do that by finding new and innovative ways to attract new business. As a service-based business, you have the tools and the skills to carry out the work for your customers and your clients, but the big challenge becomes whether or not you can get the people who need you to find you, right? So the new business will find you naturally to some extent, but you should always be finding ways, be innovative, and finding ways to attract new businesses, even when your business is going well and you're having a lot of clients and all those type of things. You need to actually add an online marketing component in order to optimize your visibility. So that is number one, optimizing your visibility by using some of the resources and the tools, the online tools and resources that's available to you. We're talking tools like Periscope, podcasting, social media, YouTube. These are tools and resources that you can use in order to optimize your visibility. But you have to constantly be finding new ways in order to do that. In order to, nowadays, again, people are not looking for you, they're looking for your services. And so there are ways that you can leverage your visibility and optimize your visibility by using these tools and resources. So again, Periscope, podcasting, social media, YouTube. Also, live training events. You can create your own live training events to get exposure, online and offline. Also, joint ventures and partnerships and collaborations. These are all ways that you can use to optimize your visibility and attract new business. Okay, number two, maximizing and leveraging relationships. Not only should you be attracting new clients, you should continue to nurture the relationships with your existing clients and leveraging the relationships you already have. A lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, if you ask them where their clients come from, they're almost always going to tell you word of mouth. And that's great because it skips right over the discovery and the relationship building and makes a beeline for the sale. But here's the problem. It's inconsistent and unpredictable. Not only that, if you're a business online, again, people are not looking for you. They're looking for the services you provide. So you need to supplement the word of mouth advertising with some type of discovery method that will fill your funnel and keep things coming that way. Okay? So email marketing is one of those ways. Okay? If you don't have a database of people that you're marketing to, you probably have heard it said, the money is in the list. And that is so true. So email marketing is a fantastic way to maximize and leverage relationships that you already have. So make sure that you're always filling your funnel with in terms of your database and the people that you already have in your database, and utilizing email marketing as a tool for maximizing and leveraging your relationships. Webinars like I'm doing right now. In this webinar, I'm providing value to you. I'm to the service-based entrepreneur. I wanted to create this webinar to show you not only the wonderful things about having an online business or having a service-based business or being in business for yourself, but also some of the pitfalls and some of the things that you need to be aware of in terms of your online business or your service-based business, Asking for referrals. Again, you definitely want to have that component there. However, you want to supplement your word-of-mouth advertising and your referral-based advertising with some other type of method that's going to fill your funnel, okay? Getting reviews. I misspelled that, but getting a review on your current services. Make sure that you're constantly asking clients, how am I doing? Is this working for you? What can I do to service you better? All of these type of things will help you to leverage your relationships and maximize the relationships that you already have. Surveys you can do also. This also helps to just kind of keep a good barometer in terms of your services and how you can get better. You have to constantly be doing these things so that you can get better at providing your services, and you want to continue to provide value to your clients. These are the ways that you can maximize and leverage the relationships that you already have. Okay, and the third thing is systemize processes. Systemize processes. Every business, no matter how small, needs its own internal protocols, right? In other words, routines for managing your regular work. For example, you might have a standard procedure for responding to inquiries from potential clients or setting up initial jobs, okay? They need to be established early on in your business, but also improve them over time for better efficiency or because of the changes in your market. You always want to constantly be ahead of the game, okay? So you must establish some type of internal protocol for handling your business, okay? At first, outsourcing and automation should not be concerns for you, okay? Because once your business gets going, outsourcing, and automation can help you by getting time-wasting tasks out of your day, regulating tasks that you're not good at to someone who is, and this allows your business to scale, okay? As you start building your service business, keep an eye out for areas that could be outsourced or automated at some point in time. Also, as you network, you can identify people who might be able to help. So outsourcing and automation, routine systems and automation for managing your regular work, these things need to be established up front and improved over time. Don't wait until your business, until you're well into years of your business to start automation or putting systems in place, because you'll find yourself, as I was, leaving money on the table. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that when you first start out that you don't need systems and automations. You do need system and automation, okay? Because you're going to find yourself again where I was, where I left money on the table and I did not get the gig and the client because I did not have these systems and automation processes in place. So, in conclusion, what are some things that you should do? Taking charge of your own working life so that you can be your own boss and maximize your learning potential can be very, very rewarding. Few who successfully make the change ever go back to working for someone else. But it's not without challenges and barriers to success. So at this point, we've attempted to identify those barriers and provided some simple strategies to help you in your service-based business. This is by no means an exhaustive list, okay? We simply didn't have the time to do that in 60 minutes, but hopefully you're much more prepared now to make the change or to improve your existing service business than you were before prior to this webinar. So, in this webinar, we've learned advantages and disadvantages, the various reasons why people decide to start their service-based business, the different ways you can be self-employed, and what service businesses you can offer. I did give a few examples of that. The pros and cons of running your own service-based business, the personal characteristics and traits that make you well-suited to run your own business, and which of these can be learned or acquired, and some common challenges that people face when they start their own business, and strategies that you can use to combat your challenge directly to ensure success. So what would I suggest that you do now? Well, I suggested you review all of your notes and your service business success guide. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to download that guide and take a look at it. And the notes, the guide should help you move forward in your business. Okay? Next, I want you to write down your number one motivation for running your own service business. What is it that really drives you to want to have or run your own service-based business? Is it the passion for what you do? I love organizing, so that drives me. I love it's a business that's very fulfilling to me, and so I love seeing the results that my clients get as a result of having interacted with me and gone through the processes of getting organized and putting systems in place and automation and all these type of things that we go over. This is what drives me. This is my number one motivation, and I probably said a few, but just write down one. Next, I want you to determine your action plan. What is your action plan? Schedule and determine your action plan. Conclusions and next steps. Taking charge of your own work and life so that you can be your own boss and maximize your earning potential can be very, very rewarding. Few who successfully make the change ever go back to working for someone else, but it's not without its challenges and barriers. At this point, we've attempted to identify those barriers and provided some simple strategies to help you in your service-based business. This is by no means an exhaustive list. We simply did not have enough time in 60 minutes or 45 minutes. But hopefully, you're much more prepared now than ever that you can make the change or improve your existing service-based business than you were prior to this webinar. In this webinar, you learned, this is what we talked about. We talked about the advantages and the disadvantages. We talked about some of the personal characteristics. We talked about strategies to accelerate your business to ensure success. So, what are some next steps that you can do in addition to what we've talked about? Well, you can review all of your notes and your service-based business guide. You should have, hopefully you had the opportunity to download it and look over your notes and do some comparison, do a self-check. No matter where you are in your business, if you're just starting out or whether you're already well into your business, it always helps to tweak as you go. Next, write down what is your number one motivation for running your business. What are the things that really just gets floats your boat, right? For me, I love organizing. I love keeping things in order. And so I love providing that type of service for my client. It's very fulfilling. I love seeing the outcome and the results that my clients get as a result of having interacted with me on that level. Determine your action plan. Schedule any outstanding activities on your calendar for implementing your plan. So now that we've gone through this webinar, hopefully you have been able to come up with a plan to either start your business or move forward in your existing business. At whatever point you're in, make sure that you have determined your action plan. The main point I wanted to get across to you is just don't sit and wait too long to take action. Okay? Now, also wanted to just Conclusions and next steps. Taking charge of your own work and life so that you can be your own boss and maximize your earning potential can be very, very rewarding. Few who successfully make the change ever go back to working for someone else, but it's not without its challenges and barriers. At this point, we've attempted to identify those barriers and provided some simple strategies to help you in your service-based business. This is by no means an exhaustive list. We simply did not have enough time in 60 minutes or 45 minutes. But hopefully, you're much more prepared now than ever that you can make the change or improve your existing service-based business than you were prior to this webinar. In this webinar, you learned, this is what we talked about. We talked about the advantages and the disadvantages. We talked about some of the personal characteristics. We talked about strategies to accelerate your business to ensure success. So, what are some next steps that you can do in addition to what we've talked about? Well, you can review all of your notes and your service-based business guide. You should have, hopefully you had the opportunity to download it and look over your notes and do some comparison, do a self-check. No matter where you are in your business, if you're just starting out or whether you're already well into your business, it always helps to tweak as you go. Next, write down what is your number one motivation for running your business. What are the things that really just gets your floats your boat, right? For me, I love organizing. I love keeping things in order. And so I love providing that type of service for my client. It's very fulfilling. I love seeing the outcome and the results that my clients get as a result of having interacted with me on that level. Determine your action plan. Schedule any outstanding activities on your calendar for implementing your plan. So now that we've gone through this webinar, hopefully you have been able to come up with a plan to either start your business or move forward in your existing business. At whatever point you're in, make sure that you have determined your action plan. The main point I wanted to get across to you is just don't sit and wait too long to take action. Okay? Now, also wanted to just make sure that you knew for details on our next business acceleration program. In this program, you will cut hours from your workday while adding dollars to your bottom line. It's a 4 to 6 week course, and it's packed with actionable steps that you can use to create easy, repeatable systems that will make your workday easier and increase your profit. Now, here's a quick overview of what you get in the program. Module 1, you stress-free immediately. We concentrate on freeing up your time as quickly as possible with simple solutions. In Module 2, you learn to tame the tech. How to truly simplify even those must-have systems by simply eliminating them altogether. Yes, that is possible. In Module 3, you discover automated, sexy sales systems and streamline your systems, automated, systemized sales processes that drive traffic and make your money like clockwork. In number 4, we automate your payments and revamp your sales funnel and so much more. But if you want to know more about what that looks like and what this program, our upcoming program, is all about, then make sure that you visit sassysystems.info. Lastly, if there's something that resonated with you in this webinar, make sure that you just head on over to the site and get the details on the program, and also connect with me on Twitter at Aldreama and Facebook at Aldreama, or just go to aldreamaharper.com. I hope that you have had the opportunity to get value from this webinar. I thank you for spending time with me. Thank you, and have an awesome day.